Hi everybody, it's Dr. Magnifico. This is Stitch. Stitch is about 8.5 years old, and you can see that Stitch has a very swollen left eye, and then the right eye sort of deviates, what we call strabismus, so it deviates a little bit to the right. He's been to the clinic multiple times while we kind of chased down this initially kind of small swelling that caused the third eyelid to elevate, and he sort of looked a little kind of dazed and confused because the eye was changing. We suspected after, I don't know, probably a couple visits that there might be something behind the eye that was causing the eye to get pushed out and then look distorted. And after a trip to the specialist, it was deduced that there was something, what we call a retrobulbar neoplastic mass. So he's got something behind that left eye that's pushing the left eye. Overnight, he had a very busy day yesterday, and overnight he started to have bleeding from his nose, which we call epistaxis. Epistaxis happens for a couple of reasons. You either inhale something, dogs are always out there with their nose in the grass, you inhale something that causes irritation inside your nose, and then your body does just like it does anywhere else, where if you've got a splinter, it's going to create this inflammatory response to try to push it out. We see it a lot around here with tick-borne diseases, so anaplasmosis in particular causes epistaxis. But for this particular case, it's more likely that that tumor, which is behind the eye and pushing the eye out now, is probably also invading the bone that's at the top of the mouth and in what we call the nasal cavity. So if you have anything kind of around that area, it's very difficult to go into the brain, so it can't go back into the head. It's going to kind of start to invade the less sensitive or less kind of difficult tissue, which is going to be kind of down into the nose, into the mouth, the hard, soft palate of the mouth, and then sometimes it can go through the optic nerve and start to affect the other eye. So we are here kind of talking about quality of life, and it's a discussion that I think everybody should have earlier on versus, when things start to get slippery. This discussion for me is always trying to understand how the pet parents feel about it. Everybody feels differently about it. Some people feel very strongly that the minute my dog or my cat is suffering or struggling, I'm going to make a decision for them, and I'm not going to wait it out. There are people who follow sort of the humane side of the camp, which is, I'm here until the end and I'm not going to make a decision for you. And it's okay to be anywhere within that spectrum. When my dog was dying of cancer, I wrote a blog that I literally called, I don't give a damn, I think I probably used a different word, I don't give a damn about anybody else's opinion about when my dog should be put down. I have to be okay with it. Right now, Stitch is up, right? We can walk, we can eat, we can drink, we can pee, we can poop. So for me, those are the 5 things that have to happen. You have to be able to eat, drink, pee, and poop. When you lose those abilities, then we really have to talk about quality of life. Is this uncomfortable? Absolutely. He probably has a chronic headache all the time. We know people who have the same thing, and Dr. Wilson, who used to have his clinic, had a tumor behind his eye. Yep, he lost his left eye and most of the bone of his face, and he will tell you it started with a headache. And he lived 10 years with that, well, he had a couple of surgeries, but he ended up living 10 years. He had a lot of surgeries and a lot of radiation. But yeah, there's probably discomfort here. Where's the line between struggling and suffering? That's for you guys to decide because you know your pet best. There are things called quality of life scales. It literally is a checklist where you kind of check good day versus bad day and then you quantitate it. I really don't love those things because I think that it reduces an emotional bond into a mathematical equation, and it's very difficult to kind of simplify it to that. He's calm and comfortable here. He's not struggling to breathe. He's, we're not frustrated about having a stranger near us. But yeah, he's declining, and at some point you're going to have to make a decision. For me, when I'm in this position, I do the following. I sort of say to myself, okay, where's my line in the sand, right? When he can't eat, or I can't control the nosebleeds, or I feel like he's just panicked because he's so uncomfortable all the time and I can't relieve the burden of the pain, then I know it's time to make a decision. I have a very good client who I talked to yesterday, whose brother is getting married, and his brother has a terminal condition, and he's going away next weekend to go to his brother's wedding. There's a couple other things, and we're going to put his cat down before he goes because he's going for 4 days. It's a really important thing for him, and his cat has been struggling for a long time, and they were calling me to say, should I cancel my vacation? Should I cancel going to see my brother who's got this, terrible? And I said, that's okay to do, right? It's okay to let go so that you can go live another part of your life when your animal is not treatable. And putting a pet in this condition in somebody else's hands is not fair to your pet, and it's not fair to that pet sitter, right? So there's a lot of things that come into play, but ultimately all of the decisions that you're making are because you love him and because we can't fix this, right? We can't cure this. Okay, those are my 2 cents about kind of quality of life and end of life decisions. All right, Stitch, you are very lucky. You are so loved. You are so loved, right? I know, you should all be so lucky.